Welcome to this month's presentation titled Be a Dementia Ambassador, a guide to help all residents feel at home in their home. We can work together to help all our residents at Wyndemere. This guide will help prepare you to become a dementia ambassador and will demonstrate strategies and tips for communicating with our residents who are challenged with dementia. My name is Beth Gregg. I'm the Director of Windemere's Residential Health Services, and I'm glad that you're going to be participating in this session. What does it mean to be a dementia ambassador? I get questions a lot from our residents, from our staff members, wondering how they can best support their neighbors, friends, family members who are challenged with dementia. You are in a unique position to make a tremendous difference in the lives of our residents. After completing the self-training module, you will get the special designation of a dementia ambassador. As a dementia ambassador, your privileges include being an advocate for the residents, being a friendly face, being a guide. Becoming an integral part of the lives of our residents in a positive, caring, and sharing way is a way that you will find that your life is improved by being part of this program. So we're glad to have you on board. We're going to spend most of the time in this presentation talking about different ways that you can help somebody who has dementia, primarily focusing on communication tips and skills and learning about different ways that you can interact in daily life activities and how you can become a dementia friend and an ambassador. One of the most important things when you're communicating with somebody who has dementia is to speak slowly and clearly. It's important to slow down our conversation, to lower the pitch of our voice a little bit, and to try to speak in simple, short sentences. You want to always reintroduce yourself. So even if this is somebody that you've known for a long time, it's always a good idea to reintroduce yourself. I'll usually say, "Hi, this is Beth. I'm one of the nurses here at Wyndemere. It's nice to see you again, Mary or John or whatever the person that you're talking to's name is." You want to connect their name with your name and help give them a heads up about who you are and why it is that you're talking with them. And you're going to find that a lot of times this will help build trust and confidence and really improve the interaction. Make eye contact. Try to bend down or sit down so you can be talking face to face. Sometimes when somebody has dementia, they're not able to understand conversations when they come from the side. It can be very scary. Likewise, when you approach somebody with dementia, make sure that you meet them coming at them from the front. Don't come up from behind them, put your hands on their shoulders or tap their back. That can be very scary. So approach from the front and make eye contact during the conversation. Smile. This is one of the best things you can do. If you forget every other tip that we talk about in this presentation, this is the one to remember. They have found in the brain that the area that is responsible for understanding what a smile is one of the areas that is held on to the longest. So they found that people that have severe challenges with dementia and who are unable to communicate, it seems like outwardly at all, are still able to understand what a smile is. So if you start your conversation with a big smile, that will set the stage for you to have success. Talk one-on-one. Instead of getting a group of friends together and trying to include the person in that conversation or meeting in a loud area where there are a lot of people around, try to find a nice quiet area where the two of you can sit, again, face to face, making eye contact, and be able to have a quiet, calm conversation between the two of you. Show that you care. A lot of times when somebody has dementia, they start feeling like people are pulling away, and they can't understand why. They might not see the changes in themselves to understand why people are seeing things differently now, and it can be a very scary feeling. So when you're having a conversation, try to really make sure that they know that you care and that you're hearing what they have to say and that you understand what they're saying and that you're connecting with them on an emotional level. Allow time to respond. If you ask a question, maybe remember not to expect an answer right away. It's okay to have some silence. It's okay to let them think things over before they answer back. Slow down. The other thing that's important to remember too is you don't always have to be talking to communicate. Sometimes just sitting with somebody, holding their hand, sitting next to them, that's communication enough. Ask simple yes or no questions. It can be very confusing for somebody with dementia if they're given a very complicated line of questioning. Say I was out at dinner with my friend and we were getting ready to order, and I said to her, "Oh my gosh, the menu looks wonderful today. What do you think you're going to order? There's so many things to choose from. I don't know, what did you get the last time that you came?" And on and on. The person with dementia is going to really shut down and turn off and really not be able to communicate through any of that. A better solution might be to just offer a yes or no question. Have you eaten here before? Yes or no. Does the chicken look good to you tonight? Yes or no. Are you enjoying your salad? Yes or no. Are you having a nice day today? Things like that. It just makes for an easier conversation and a more successful interaction. Use a calm, warm tone of voice. And I like this picture because it does a good job of explaining what I'm trying to get at here. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. We've all lost patience sometimes, and it is easy to lose patience when you're trying to communicate with somebody who is struggling with some of the symptoms of dementia. So even if you were to say something like, "Okay, it's time to get in the car," if you might say it, thinking that you're saying something pleasant, but if you're using a tone of voice that's more like, "Okay, it's time to get in the car," they're going to still have the understanding of the tone of voice and to think, "Boy, this person's angry at me and I don't know why. I don't understand why they're so upset with me." So it goes back to the slide when we talked about smiling. Make sure you smile when you talk, because when you smile, that naturally gives a calm, warm tone to your voice, and that will improve the interaction that you have. Offer a guess. If the person that you're talking to is really struggling to try to communicate what they want you to know, it's okay to guess. You can say, "It looks to me like you're pointing towards the laundry room. Do you need assistance with your laundry? Do you need help getting the laundry out of the machine? Do you need new detergent?" Sometimes offering a guess will help them then to be able to identify what their needs are, to say, yes, that's what my question is, and to build some of that trust between the two of you. Avoid arguing or criticizing. If the scenario that I always give, say somebody tells me the sky is yellow. Well, I know the sky's not yellow. I know the sky's blue. But what would happen if I said to that person, "What are you talking about? The sky is blue." Well, to that person, the sky really is yellow. That's their reality. And if all of a sudden I'm challenging their reality, they might become fearful. They might become angry. They might shut down. They might stop talking. They might lose trust. Arguing, criticizing rarely yields to success. So it's okay not to try to correct somebody, not to try to argue, just to figure out what that person's reality is, and not to worry about trying to change it. It's okay if they believe something that's different than what is reality. To them, it is their reality. So if you can step into their shoes and to try to figure out what their reality is, that's going to lead to a more successful relationship. Many times when somebody has dementia, they might ask the same question over and over and over and over again, or tell the story over and over and over again. It's not a beneficial thing to say to them, oh my gosh, you've already asked me this. Why are you asking me again? Or you just asked me 5 minutes ago. Or I told you yesterday, haven't you been listening? The part of their brain that is responsible for that short-term memory retention just isn't functioning anymore. So even though they did already tell you this story, or you did already tell them the information that they're looking for, it just hasn't stayed put in their brain. So they're not asking things over and over again to be annoying or to be problematic or to be argumentative. They just truly don't have that information in their mind anymore. So instead of saying, you asked me this already in an exasperated tone, just say the same answer each time in the same exact way in a short and concise manner. And eventually, hopefully, the person will understand. Avoid baby talk. Don't forget, we're talking to adults, and sometimes it's easy to kind of go back into a patronizing tone of voice or condescending tone of voice or start using baby talk. But please remember, we are talking to each other as adults, and it's very important to continue that relationship. Be flexible. So I love this picture here. If plan A didn't work, the alphabet has 25 more letters. Stay cool. So instead of being rigid and thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to talk with this person, or this is the activity that we're going to do together, or this is where, what we're going to talk about today. You might find on that particular day that person that you're talking with doesn't really want anything to do with that, or they might have a different idea, or they're having a bad day and they're just not able to communicate well. So be flexible. Again, put yourself into that person's shoes. If it doesn't seem like things are working out okay, change your plans. Try to accommodate their needs. Be creative. It's not always going to work. What your idea is, what you expect that you're hoping will happen, it might not always work. You might need to be creative. You might need to think of other alternative suggestions. Say, for example, you're trying to get a loved one to put on their coat before they go outside in the cold weather, and they're resisting the idea. Maybe one day it might work to ask them to choose which coat they want, to give them that power of choice so they can feel control over their world. That might work for a while, and then all of a sudden one day you might find, okay, that's not working anymore. They're back to resisting again, and I'm worried about them being too cold when they go outside. So maybe using a little creativity. Maybe a coat isn't necessary. Maybe a blanket would be okay. Maybe they would feel more comfortable with that. Maybe you could just bring the car right to the front of the house and they could get right in and you don't need the coat. So trying to come up with some creative strategies might really give you a little peace of mind and help your friend or loved one to be more successful. And the other thing to remember is it's okay to just stop and try again tomorrow. After all, tomorrow is another day. If you feel there's a lot of resistance, if you're feeling that your communication, your relationship is hitting an unsuccessful point, if you feel like you're just banging heads or you keep rolling the ball uphill and it keeps rolling back down again, just stop for a little while. Both of you will benefit from that time off. It's okay. Not every day is going to be successful. Not every encounter is going to be successful. It's okay to put it away for a little while and try again at another time. Ask for help. Don't feel that you are on your own because you have a lot of teammates around you to support you. So if you're trying to work on improving communication between yourself and a neighbor or a friend or a loved one, and you're running into roadblocks and you're running into barriers and you're becoming frustrated or you've run out of ideas, ask for help. Support can make all the difference. You always have me and the other nurses at Residential Health. You can talk to the Wyndemere staff. You can talk to your friends, your colleagues. Going through some of these dementia training programs, you'll identify who else in the community has gone through this training as well. People in the Butterfly Friends program would be great people that you could talk to and collaborate with. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. So what happens sometimes, people will say to me, okay, I'm learning more about how to communicate with somebody. I feel much more comfortable with that. I don't feel it like I used to, that I might say something wrong. I feel like I have a good strategy to talk with people. I want to help somebody. I want to do something with my neighbor or my friend or my loved one, but I'm just not quite sure what are some good activities that we can do together. What do you recommend? So here's just a brief list of some suggestions of what you can consider for some activities that would make for a meaningful connection and would be something that you two would be able to do together. Go out for a walk. A lot of times people with dementia get very closed in. They don't leave their apartment, or they don't leave their community. They don't get to be outside in nature and in the fresh air, either because they are, in their routine and their habits and it's hard to break that, or because it might be unsafe for them to go out on their own. So offering to go out for a walk might be one of the best things that you can do together, or even just walking around inside a community. That can be a great sharing experience. You can talk as you walk, or you don't even need to. Just being together might be plenty of a warm interaction. Read the newspaper out loud. Part of what dementia can do sometimes is to take away somebody's ability to read or to understand. So taking the time with somebody with dementia every day to read a newspaper out loud, it's going to benefit the relationship, but it'll also help that person to understand more about what's going on in the world, to engage different areas of the brain that relate to language and comprehension. And it's actually going to benefit you quite a bit as well. Discuss the day ahead. Talk about schedules. Talk about what their preferences are for the day. Outline what the general plan is for the day so that they can be prepared about what's going to be happening. People with dementia do very well when they're in a routine and they have habits and they know what to expect. So going over the calendar or writing down what the plan is for the day can be very helpful for somebody. Have a cup of coffee together or share a meal. It's a wonderful time to socialize together, to talk. You always have a topic of conversation because you can talk about the food. Sometimes people with dementia stop socializing as much as they used to. They might become a little bit more withdrawn. Sometimes people stop eating. They might stop coming out to the dining room, either because they forget to come, they forget how to get there, or they don't feel comfortable going into the space anymore because they're not sure what to do. So having you with them is a way to really make that event exciting for them, powerful for them, and it's a good friendship building exercise too. Something as simple as sitting together and clipping coupons or putting coins into rolls. That's something that will help somebody feel successful. It'll help them feel that they have a purpose. And then they can work together on with you on a job that actually has an outcome. They can feel successful, that they accomplished something. Similar thing is to fold laundry together or do other kinds of household tasks together. Any kind of tasks that somebody has done for a lot of their lifetime is going to be something that you're going to see will be more successful for them to do. So a lot of people have been doing laundry for years and years and years, and they remember how to fold and they remember the steps of what to do. So that will be a great activity to do together because, again, that'll give them a feeling of purpose, of success, and of accomplishment. Play a game together, something like checkers. Again, something that they have played for their whole life that they're comfortable with doing. You might be surprised how able they are to remember to keep playing games like that and to have interactions together. And again, what a great way to engage different areas of their brain that might not be engaged in everyday life. Water plants. Do some gardening, inside or outside. Listen to music together. You see this couple dancing, listening to music through the same headphones. Go to a concert, turn on the radio. They found that music is the area is able to be remembered very long term in the brain. It's held in long-term memory, and anytime that you use the memory parts of your brain, it's just a very strong way to engage a lot of areas and to reminisce and to bring back memories and to make their brains stronger and to build a better social connection together. Go to a Wyndemere event together. Sometimes people really would like to come out to events and activities and programs, but they forget when to come, they don't know where to go, or they get intimidated by walking into the group space without somebody there with them. So invite them to come along with you and share the event together. Reminisce. Spend some time talking about the old days. Look through picture albums. Talk about what it was like when you were growing up, what it was like when you were a young adult. When somebody is going through dementia, they move backwards in time a little bit chronologically. So even though they might not remember what they had for breakfast today, they will most likely remember their childhood and parts of their life for when they were a younger person. So spend some time reminiscing and talking about the good old days. So you did a great job in watching this presentation and listening to some tips and some tricks. So I just thought it might be a fun idea to go through a little quiz and see what you've learned in this presentation. Here's the first question: true or false? Sometimes it is hard to tell if a person has dementia. The answer for this is true. The symptoms of dementia can be subtle, especially at the beginning, but it can cause great fear for the person involved. A lot of times somebody might try to hide their struggles with dementia at the early stages, which makes it a little bit harder to tell that that person is dealing with these challenges, behind closed doors. True or false? People with dementia are trying to be difficult and annoying. The answer to this is false. The disease process of dementia is what is changing their behavior. It is not the person's choice. For most people, they would not want to be difficult and annoying. It's not their decision. It's just what is happening in their body. True or false? If a resident is having a hard time communicating needs, it is okay to offer a guess. The answer to this is true. This can be helpful to show that you are trying to understand and gives them cues to be able to communicate more effectively. True or false? Do not argue with a person who has dementia. The answer to this is true. Arguing or trying to orient to reality has a tendency to backfire, causing anger, fear, and distrust. True or false? It's better to have conversations with lots of people around. The answer to this is false. Try to find a quiet area to talk and have a one-on-one conversation. True or false? When a resident repeats himself, it's best to answer the same way each time with a short, clear answer and with a smile. The answer to this is true. Patience, clarity, and kindness really help in this situation. True or false? When greeting a resident, use a friendly tone of voice, use his name, and approach from the front. The answer to this is true. These are all good techniques for optimal communication. True or false? It is impossible to communicate with someone who has dementia, and it is not worth trying. The answer to this is false. Don't give up. Use patience, creativity, and flexibility. Don't forget, you can make a positive difference. If you have any questions or you'd like further information, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Just as a reminder, my name is Beth Gregg. I'm the Director of Wyndemere Residential Health Services. My direct phone number is area code 630-681-4037, or you can email me at gregbeth@windemerelcs.com. Thank you for attending this presentation and for being a Dementia Ambassador.